One of the least watched videos that I've made on this YouTube channel in the last 4 months has been on these Living Fit bumper plates, and that's a shame. That was my unboxing and overview video, and I'm hoping that more people watch this video, my final review after 4 months of use. Welcome to the GymCrafter YouTube channel. My name's Tim. I am the head gym nerd over at GymCrafter.com, the website that I built to help ordinary folks like you and I build home and garage gyms that we absolutely love. And today I've got another final review video for you. If you're not familiar with how the GymCrafter channel works, the way that I review products is typically when I get them into the garage, I unbox them on camera and give you a first impressions and overview video. I did that with these Living Fit bumper plates about 4 months ago. Then what I do is I train with them. I'm a personal trainer that trains folks here in my gym. I have the folks that I train with them. And after I think they've gotten enough use to give me kind of a nice sense of the product and whether or not I can recommend it to you or not, I do a final review, and that's where we are with these Living Fit bumper plates. If you like videos like this, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out a ton of content lately, and I've got a ton of stuff that I need to post a site review on. And if you know anybody in your life that's looking for bumper plates, make sure and share this video with them. Now, I'm going to put links to everything we talk about below in the description so you can check current pricing, more detailed descriptions and things like that. But with all that out of the way, let's get to the review. So when the owner of Living Fit contacted me to send me this barbell and these plates, I was interested. The reason for that is, I think one of the often overlooked groups of people for home gym gear are the 95% of people out there working on a budget. The folks like you and I who are probably never gonna buy a $7,000 rack or a $4,000 this or we're trying to get a nice gym built at a lower price, but make sure that we get something good for our money. So anytime I get an opportunity to look at gear that's at a lower price point and kind of what I would call budget gear, and I don't like using that term because sometimes that gives a bad connotation, but as an example, a 340-pound set of these bumpers is only $650. And if you shop for bumpers, that's a really, really good price. So when they contacted me and said, hey, can we send these to you? I said, absolutely, send them out. I want to take a look and see what I think. And I am really glad that I did. The more stuff I look at from Living Fit, the more I like the company. And that's not a surprise. The owner of the company was one of the guys who founded Kettlebell Kings, probably the best kettlebell company out there. Still the kettlebells that I use on a regular basis here in the gym. And I knew that anything that he was involved with, he would do a really good job, and he hasn't disappointed with anything I've looked at so far, including these bumpers. As you may or may not know from watching the channel, when I train folks in here, what I do is I allow them to pick anything that they want to train with. Right now I've got 5 different sets of bumper plates in here. I probably got about 12 different barbells, and it's fun for me to watch them try new stuff because it's one of the reasons people like training here is I've always got something new for people to play with, and that's kind of a fun thing to come into in your training sessions. But once they've tried all the new stuff, I find that people start to reach for the same things over and over and over again. And as you might have seen in the review for this barbell, this bar is one of the things that they reach for over and over. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up above. Make sure and check out the review of this barbell, it's fantastic. But same thing with these plates. People reach for these plates more than they reach for even I'm a big fan of the Fringe Sport Savage bumper plates. Those are the ones that I like using. They look really cool, they're thinner, they're a little bit harder. So it always kind of pains me when the people that I train walk past my plates that I would prefer to train with, and they grab these. And when I started asking people, it really made a lot of sense. Number one, these are the grippiest bumper plates in the gym. They are, it's not even close. They're super easy to pick up. They're not gonna slip out of your hand. And what somebody told me about those Fringe Sport plates is, yeah, they're nice and they look really cool, but they're really hard and they're a little bit harder to hang on to than these. You can pick any of these weights up with one hand. It's not gonna slip out of your hand. And that's something that I really like. And it's a great example of why we do the reviews here the way that I do, is that's not something that I noticed when I did the initial unboxing. And the longer I've had these, the grippier they've gotten. Now, these are colored bumpers. So I have had people give me some feedback that they're not a big fan of colored bumpers. And at this point, Living Fit doesn't offer black ones. One of the drawbacks of colored bumpers, and that's not just these, this is all colored bumpers, including those Savage plates I just referred to, is as you use them, and they bang into things and get dropped on the floor. And I rest benches on the top of these things, and we use them to prop up our feet for elevated push-ups. I mean, you use these for much more than just lifting, and they start to get dinged up and marked. And with a black plate, you don't see those marks. And with a colored bumper plate, you do actually see those marks. So just be aware that if you get a colored bumper plate set, whether it's these or any other ones, you're definitely gonna see some marks on the plate develop as you use them. As far as the weights, they all weigh spot on. When I weigh these out, they're all to the pound, exactly what they're supposed to weigh. I've been reviewing some much more expensive bumper plates recently, and they can be as much as 0.2 of a pound off. These are all spot on. So there's a couple things about these that I actually wish were different, and I want to show you on this plate here as an example. If you look at the logo right here, you'll notice that the white paint came off of the logo, and that's gonna happen on a bunch of these plates. If I was to take off all these plates, I could show that to you in a bunch of different places. So I made a video recently on my podcast. And if you don't know I have a podcast, I've got a podcast, check it out. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify. But I did an episode of budget versus cheap. And in that episode, I talked about when you wanna hit a lower price point like these are, you can do that in one of a couple of ways. You can sacrifice performance, or you can sacrifice things that have nothing to do with performance and are more in relation to looks that don't have anything to do with how well they work. And that's kind of the deal with these. The white paint that they use to color the lettering, it's not the crispest along the edges. It's nice, don't get me wrong, it looks super sharp. But there are some places where it's a little bit sloppy. And as we use these, what I found was that it starts to peel off pretty easily. And it's one of those things where if you peel the part that's peeled up, all of a sudden it's all coming off, and it's kind of satisfying to peel it off. So you find that some of my plates are missing some of the lettering is what I'm trying to say. Now, that will turn some people off. So I just want to be real honest with you guys up front. If something like that bothers you to the point where you don't want to spend the money, I get that. And you need to know that that's going to happen on these plates. However, that has absolutely nothing to do with how much they weigh. It has nothing to do with how well the inserts are done. It has nothing to do with their durability, their grippiness, anything like that. Outside of the paint, there's one small nitpick I have with these plates, and it's got nothing to do with the plates themselves. It's got to do with how they're sold. So the 340-pound set, I believe, is 3 pairs of 45s, a pair of 25s, and a pair of 10s. And I don't think that that makes a complete set. Now, they do sell individual pairs, and they also sell 5-pound plates. In my opinion, and I'm definitely gonna send this feedback to the owner, the set should actually be 370 pounds. What I would rather see is a 300, and they have a 370-pound set, but it's got like 55s and 15s and things. Personally, the way that I would like to see them sold is a 370-pound set that has 3 pairs of 45s, a pair of 25s, 2 pairs of 10s, and a pair of 5s. If you get that assortment, you can literally cover every weight that you would want to put on your bar in increments of 5 pounds without buying any other plates. And you're going to save yourself the headache and extra expense of dealing with 35, 15, and 55-pound plates. Now, some of you out there like those particular denominations. I know Brandon over at Basement Brandon loves his 35-pound plates. And I have had some of you reach out and say, hey, for deadlifting, you like the 55s because you like to start at a higher weight. So I get that. But for most folks buying a set of bumpers, I really think that if you get the 3 pairs of 45s, the pair of 25s, the pair of 10s, or 2 pairs of 10s, and a pair of 5s, you're set to go. So right now, if you're gonna head over there and buy these, or you're gonna pick these up, what I would recommend is picking up the 340-pound set, which is $650, and then pick yourself up an extra pair of 10s and a pair of their 5-pound change plates, and you'll be good to go. You'll have everything that you need. Hey, that's not a jarring change, is it? So I was editing this video and I realized that I needed to come back down to the gym to add a little bit more content to it because I left some things out that I've been leaving out of some of my more value-priced reviews lately. A lot of times when I'm evaluating things that are of a lower price, you kind of usually get what you pay for. And every once in a while, like with the Living Fit stuff, you run into things that are really great values for the money. And my overall opinion of these bumper plates is they are just fantastic for the money. But sometimes I get so carried away that I just kind of say, for the money, these are the best bumper plates you can get, which they are, but I don't explain what I mean by for the money or what you would get by upgrading to something better. And a lot of times people jump in the comments and they go, hey, but these are better and these are better and these are better. And I'm like, yeah, all those are much more expensive. So I wanted to take a quick second and kind of show you that while these are a great value for the money, and if you're buying plates on a budget or you just want to save money on the plates to spend it elsewhere in your gym, I can't recommend these highly enough. But if you're not on that type of a budget and you're wondering what you would get by going up a step in bumper plates, I've got these on the bar next to my Fringe Sport bumper plates. And these 10-pound plates are a good place to show you the few things that are gonna be what you get if you step up and spend more money. None of the things I'm gonna show you are deal breakers for the Living Fit plates in my opinion, but I do wanna take a minute and show you what you will get if you spend more money on bumper plates. So here I've got the 4 Living Fit 10-pound bumpers that I've got, and right next to it I've got 2 10-pound Fringe Sport, what are called contrast bumpers. These are their mid-level bumpers, they're not their Savage plates, they're just their mid-level bumpers, but Fringe Sport year after year after year is recognized as making the best bumper plates in the industry. So it's a really good comparison of what you get by, getting something that's a lower price point and getting something that's a little bit more expensive. And with these 10-pound plates, the first thing that you'll see is that these Fringe Sport plates are about 8 years old. These 10-pound plates have been dropped from overhead, they have been stepped on, they have been dropped off of the weight horns, they have been used extensively. These Living Fit plates are 4 months old, and they've gotten a lot of use in the last 4 months, but nothing that compares to the 8 years of use that these Fringe Sport plates did. And what you'll see is that these 10-pound plates in the Living Fit, while they started flat, are definitely starting to bend and warp just a little bit. Nothing that would make them unusable, nothing that's gonna cause a problem, but just as a general indication of the build quality, you are gonna see more deformation in your 10-pound plates when you go with a lower price bumper plate set than if you go with a higher price bumper plate set. Now, as you see in the video, there's still a little bit of bending in the Fringe Sports too, and I'm not surprised. I've literally just had the 10 pounds on the bar, dropped them from overhead a bunch of times as I'm training people, so these have taken a beating, and no 10-pound plate's gonna stay perfectly flat forever, but 8 years of that has only bent on this little bit. And that's another thing, is that Fringe Sport's the only 10-pound bumpers that you can buy that you really can drop on their own. These, I wouldn't recommend doing that. So if you're planning on dropping a bar with only 10-pound plates on it, the Living Fit aren't the way to go. You wanna go with something that's made for that type of abuse with the Fringe Sport. The other thing that I'll point out is that I mentioned how grippy these Living Fit plates are, and these Fringe Sport plates aren't near as grippy. Now, part of it is because the oil for my hands, I haven't cleaned these in 8 years, so maybe if I clean them, that might change. But they're also harder, the durometer is higher. So what that means is that if you do plan on using bumpers to drop your weights, the Fringe Sport are gonna have a little bit less bounce than the Living Fits are. So if bounce is important to you and you wanna make sure, because you're doing all Olympic lifting or you're doing all CrossFitting, then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get a lower bounce plate like the Fringe Sport. So I just wanted to jump in at the end of the video and give you guys that additional information. Like I've said a few times in this video, I really like these Living Fit bumper plates. I don't want to lead you to believe that you have to buy the more expensive ones. I just wanted to let you know what you get if you buy the more expensive ones, so there was no confusion. As far as best for the money, Living Fit wins. I wouldn't hesitate to buy them myself again. I probably will buy some more, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them. I recommend these all the time to people who are trying to take money from one area of their gym, like the weights, and spend it in other areas, like a nicer rack or a nicer barbell or something like that. Going lower price on weight plates is a great way to save money on your gym. And again, Living Fit's a great way to do that. So what do you guys think? What bumper plates do you guys have? What do you like? There's so many bumper plates out there. It's hard to know what all's on the market and what do you think. If you've got these Living Fit bumper plates, chime in down below in the comments and let other people know what you think. As always, I pin comments on all my videos with good, valuable feedback so that as people watch these and try and make buying decisions, that they have all of the information at their fingertips and they've got it from more people than just me. If you do decide to buy these, please make sure and use the affiliate link below. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but it does pay me a little bit of commission and it helps run the channel and helps keeping me up late at night like this, editing videos over and over so I can bring you this stuff. But that's all I've got for now. Thanks for hanging in. I'm Tim with GymCrafter.